This is not just a step-by-step tutorial but also a workflow of how to efficiently model something in Blender. I'm Fazal and welcome back to my channel. This is part 4 of our AR-15 modeling tutorial where we are modeling the lure, receiver and hand grip and magazine of our AR-15. So if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This helps me create more content. Anyhow, let's get started. To model the lure receiver, select the face on lure side of the upper receiver and duplicate them, position it slightly away from it and then separate it by selection using the P key and remove all modifiers. Then select all by A and press M and merge by distance to avoid multiple vertices. Select all by A and extrude, then leave and then press Alt S and give it a thickness. Now remove some of the faces and then press the Alt S again and give it thickness. Select all the faces on the back and flatten it by S, Y and 0. Now add some edge loops and then go to select sharp edges and bevel them with 2 number of cuts. So looking to the reference, it contains a curvy shape near the rear hand grip and also some cuts near the trigger. So to make a curvy shape in the corner, add a cube, resize it and then position it so that one corner of the cube overlaps with the corner of the lure receiver. Build the corner of the cube and shade it out smooth, apply scale and select both and press Ctrl-. Now add the shape of Maxwell to the base mesh. Select these bases, extrude them on negative Z axis, then select these bases and move them downward a little. Duplicate the bool cube that marked the curvy cut and make another cut there. To model the hand grip, apply the 2 cube modifiers to the geometry and then select the face, duplicate and separate it by selection. Then remove overlapping and unconnected vertices and then add an edge loop, bevel it and now select all by A, press E, extrude, Alt S to shrink, give thickness. Now select the bottom bases, scale down to 0, then extrude it down, add edge loops and metal and bevel it and then select the sharp edges, deselect the upper ones by Control and drag and then bevel the remaining edges to make the shape cylinder-like. Then select the lower part, scale it up a little and also make some shape there. Then select the passes and set and extrude a little. Now remove some of the angles and select all by A and press M and mark by distance. Then select the half of it using wireframe and box, select delete and duplicate the other, flip it using 3D cursor as pivot point by shortcut keys like S, X and -1. Then select the middle loops and press M and mark by distance and adjust the distance as well. Okay, some details for the Maxwell. Select these pieces, then move it and rotate it on X axis and then position it. Extrude it, scale it off times and make the shape for the insert, delete and extrude it, scale it up a few times and make the shape, insert and delete the inner faces. Now select the face, duplicate and separate it by selection and then remove all modifiers, then select it, extrude it and position it so it overlaps a thinner part of our lure receiver mesh. Then scale it and position it and select the corner edges that's near to the back side and bevel it. Then select the face, move on Z and bevel the corner as well. Select the upper faces, repeat the same shit with that. Then in edit mode, select a face, duplicate and separate it by selection, remove all modifiers from it and make it a square shape. Then select all by A and press Ctrl Shift P and then delete inner face and grid fillet. Now extrude it to give a thickness and extrude, scale and set make a shape like that and select as magazine release button. Now duplicate the face on upper surface, separate by selection and remove all modifiers, then extrude it, bevel the sharp edges and then duplicate one but act as a cutter object and the other as the object. Select one object and minus it from the mesh by Ctrl-. This is added with the bool add-on. Position it and select the passes, move it like this and then select the pass, extrude it, bevel the under edges and separate by selection. Select both and minus it from the mesh and then add array modifier to the cutter object. Okay, so to make the 3 buttons like circular shapes up there, select some passes, subdivide it and using the loop tool circle it and then using inset, scale and extrude tools make the 3 buttons like shape. One button is like for the buttstock and all these things. Okay, so to make some details in the Maxwell, select these passes, separate by selection and apply scale, remove modifiers and add some loops, then manipulate it by moving, scaling and beveling and make the shape, then select it, give a thickness and bevel sharp edges, and then select both and press Ctrl minus and minus it from the geometry using the bool tool. Duplicate again a face, separate and bevel one side vertices and give it a thickness using extrude and select both, press Ctrl minus. To add more details, select a face, separate by selection, remove all modifier, duplicate many times and place it as shown and manipulate the corners and move the corners to give random shapes. Select all by A and press Ctrl Shift and B. It will bevel the vertices. Then select all by A, extrude to give thickness, bevel the faces that are facing the object, and then select both, press Ctrl minus and make solver option and modified setting from exit to make the object around the trigger. Add a cube, scale it down, position it, add horizontal edge loops, and then select the vertices and bevel it to make the shape. Now move the vertices to thinner the shape and then make the topology as shown by knife tool. Top the vertices, make a shape for a screw and then duplicate, flip on X by -1 and merge by distance. Make a screw and duplicate it to the other side as well. Now select some pieces, duplicate, separate and make the other shapes. Okay, so to make trigger, first add a cube, scale down and position it there. Make one side narrow and the other side wide and move the bottom bases a little on y-axis, and then add an edge loop and move on y a little. Then bevel it by Ctrl B and then add an edge loop horizontal and move the vertices on z-axis. Select sharp edges and bevel them. Okay, so to make the magazine, we add a cube, scale it down and scale it on X and Z so it has enough height and width like magazine, and that fit and mags well. So rotate it on x-axis. Now add an edge loop and bevel it with 3 or 4 cuts to make a little curvy shape. Select the bottom bases and extrude, scale and extrude and move it to make the structure. Then extrude again, move on Z and Y, rotate on X obviously to make the shape, and then add some edge loops vertically. Select the edges and bevel them to make the corner round. Okay, then go to select and select sharp edges and bevel them. Now duplicate the magazine premise. Go to edit mode of the coffee and select the bottom vertices and press X to delete it. To add details to it, add a cube, scale it down, rotate on x-axis and position it right there, and select the two edges that are facing the magazine and bevel them, shade it out to smooth. Select both and press Ctrl minus and then duplicate it on Z and Y and rotate a little on x-axis and position it there. Select both and press Ctrl minus. Then select it, duplicate and make a third one as well. Add another cube and scale down and also make it thin like that and position it right there. Make sure that all these cubes passes the magazine so that the cut is on all the sides. So add an edge loop horizontally and then move it a little on y-axis and then bevel it to make curvy. Select the edge on the corner, bevel them so to make them round. Select both and press Ctrl minus. Make sure to remember the order of selection. Okay, so another detail, select one of the cube on the corner, duplicate, move it off there and select the two edges, then bevel it and now position it and scale down local z-axis and select the one side corner, move them out, then select both and press Ctrl minus to subtract it from the original geometry. Then again duplicate one of these, put it about the previous one, scale down a little and position it again, select duplicate it, place the duplicated above the other one and a bit rotate it. Then again duplicate, place it above so there are 3. Then select each with the magazine cover one by one or combinedly with active as the geo from which the others are subtracted and press Ctrl minus. So to make some more details, duplicate the cube, place it in the corner and just position it and make it a cutter, then select it, duplicate and repeat it 3 times. Select all and then the geometry from which it is subtracted and press Ctrl minus. And if you face problem, just go to modify setting and manipulate the solver option. One last detail before we complete the magazine, add a cube, scale it down, scale it on Y like that to make it a bit lengthy and then make corners bevel, position it there and select both and press Ctrl minus. Make sure the detail is on one side, then duplicate it, move it on z-axis corner and make a shape like that and then select it, then the magazine mesh, not the coffee, and press Ctrl minus. Select the bottom vertices and scale it down on x-axis and move the bool on X. Shade all the sheets objects auto smooth, and that's it. We have modeled the magazine. Adding more details to the other side of the lure receiver, in edit mode, of the lure receiver. Select the edge, make it bevel with, go to select and select the sharp edges, bevel them and then make their shape there. Okay, select the path near that thing, extrude and then extrude that, and select the path, duplicate and separate in edit mode, extrude and then select both and press Ctrl minus to make a cut. Also make the corner round by beveling them. Okay, select the path near the thing, extrude that and then extrude that, and select the path, duplicate, separate in edit mode, extrude and then select both and press Ctrl minus, making it a cut. Also make the corner round by beveling them. Then select these 4 paths and duplicate them, subdivided using the loop tool, make a circle and now extrude it down on normal z-axis, and in object mode select both and press Ctrl minus, then add a circle, scale down, grid fill it and then position it right there in the hole, and then select a face and the circle, duplicate, separate, apply scale left and make a shape like that. Select and extrude plus bevel the corner, then bring cursor to the face, add circle, rotate and scale it, and then grid fill it and extrude and make a hole there. Then add another and repeat the same shit to make the button like shape up there. So make the cursor circle head a little wide and that appears in the camera. Now select the path using extrude and move make a shape like that, and then select 3 vertices, make them bevel with Ctrl Shift P, then extrude a little on z-axis to give thickness, then select both and make it a cut. Okay, so select these vertices of Maxwell, move on z-axis, then select all objects, make the magazine and move on z. Okay, add a plane, scale it down, manipulate the corner and make the shape. Manipulate mean move corners, so then bevel the vertices by Ctrl Shift P and then select all by to give it depth, and then in object mode select all and press Ctrl minus. Okay, select the paths on the lure receiver and make a circle using the bool tool, then extrude them down, then add a circle, scale it down and press Ctrl F and grid palette, and then select the circle, extrude it and make a shape like that, and just using extrude and move make the shape, then delete the upper faces and extrude and insert make the detail, then also make a circular and the V-shape detail as well. Cube, duplicate a face, scale it down, select the 2 opposite long faces and then insert and bridge them using the bool tool. Then move it toward the lure receiver and select both, press Ctrl minus and then select the cutter and duplicate. Then move it toward the lure receiver, select both, press Ctrl minus and then select the cutter and move to the other place and repeat the same shit. Okay, now add a plane, scale it down, add a longitudinal loop by Ctrl R and make a bullet like shape, extrude, bevel, shade out to smooth and minus it from the geometry, and then duplicate and place it in the other and minus it. A face of the bullet like shape, duplicate, separate, rotate and extrude, bevel and then position it and select both the lure receiver and the object and press Ctrl minus. Okay, so move all objects to the cutter collection. And finally we have completed the main part, the lure receiver. So in the next part we will make all other remaining parts, and the upcoming parts we will make the topology more better and visually appealing, and also that's good for lighting. We will mark scenes for you and wrapping, so stay tuned for the upcoming parts. And if you don't understand, go back to part 1 where I explain all shit things in detail. So in the last I want to say you subscribe, please, stay creative, stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next part. Thank you.